What's up, guys? Today's episode we're gonna watch Andy Griffith show. It's like, nah, I'm gonna show you what I've gotten done on the 4Runner. I don't know if y'all remember before, but I had this switch panel. The switch panel just zip tied right in here. I had it mounted here before, but the way it sat so high, this part of the hood would push it down and press on this vent hose here and mess everything up. So I did a lot of research on how to delete the Evap, the charcoal canister. I did a test run on it and everything has been fine for now. The check engine light has not came on, and I've done the Tacoma, and I've been driving the Tacoma for a while like that, and the Tacoma's been doing fine with no check engine light. So I think what I've done is working, but I won't truly tell until I drive it for a pretty good while, because a lot of times these ECUs take a little bit of time, and then sometimes they don't. They'll throw the code like that. But as of right now, I have the charcoal canister out. This is the piece that's on the side right here, and it sits right here on the charcoal canister, and that's the plug for it. And then these are the two vacuum hoses that come off of it. So this vacuum hose goes to the top of the manifold, and then this vacuum hose goes straight from the fuel tank, and that is right there. It's that fitting right there. And I haven't fully completed the 4Runner because I need a joint fitting, because that line is smaller than this, so I can't just use one hose. I've got to start with a small hose, and then run it to the connector, and then go to a bigger hose to connect to this port, and then that would be done. And that is, forgot the name of it, but that's the thing that clicks and it helps with the vacuum of the fuel tank, so it will make pressure inside of it and it will release it. And what it does is it comes from the fuel tank, and then it comes out and it goes back into the motor. And then this piece is your evaporator pressure sensor. So this detects leaks or too much pressure in the system. And some Toyotas don't have this, but both of my Toyotas do. So what I did was I took one small hose from the plastic 6-inch connector, connected it to the bottom of the sensor, connected it to this piece, the switch here, and then I just looped it with one hose to where it's always in loop, and hopefully it won't have a leak and throw the sensor to throw the check engine light. Because as long as this sensor is working, we won't have a check engine light. So all that's complete. But the thing that I wanted to do was mount this box in a location so I can actually use it and it will be functional. So it's right there as you look in the front of the motor. Fuse block is right here, and with the Spiker engineering hood struts, it shuts perfectly. It's got a good enough gap here, and this rubber seal is just something from an old vehicle that I put up there, just to add like a little padding or seal to the hood and fender itself. So, but yeah, that's about it, and everything's running good. What I did was I capped off this piece. This piece goes to the very front of the charcoal canister, and what that does is it comes from the intake to the charcoal canister, and then there's another hose on the charcoal canister that goes into the frame, and all that is like a dump tube. So anything that needs to be released goes out and it goes into the frame, because the charcoal canister cleans the gas fumes. That way then it won't get into the atmosphere. So basically all we're doing is looping the system and throwing it back into the manifold. So I left this mount here in the existing hole, and then I actually drilled out a hole and put a, what is it called, a rivet nut inside of the firewall, and then I put a 10 mil holding this sensor for right here, so that would be secured. And then I put nut rivets in this fender piece here, so then my box isn't going anywhere. And then I still got to work it out, all these wires, trying to make them you know, as good as I can make them look and not be like a bird's nest. It looked a whole lot worse than this. I've actually cleaned it up a lot. I'm trying to get everything set up right before I go to the beach, and I'm still gonna bring all my tools just in case if I have to work on something on the road. That's about where the temperature stays for the transmission now that I add the Hayden 699 cooler. I did take the Land Cruiser coils out in the rear, and I don't know if my track bar, like my panhard bar, is pushing my axle to the driver's side, so now I'm having to steer to the left. So I think I'm gonna raise the panhard bar up one notch and then see if that kind of straightens out my steering wheel. But yeah, the trans temperature looks pretty good. Alright guys, I've been about 500 miles on the front diff and drained the fluid. Kind of worried that I didn't have enough fluid in there, because I don't even think I drained a quart. But the gear oil looks really good, and I had like fine metal shavings on the magnet, so everything's fine. There is no large metal, you know, flakes and pieces. But went ahead, poured some more gear oil in it, and then I got the gear oil sitting back up, trying to get it to drain back into the tub. But I think before I go to the beach, I'm going to take it to the alignment shop and see if anything needs to be corrected, because the steering wheel's a little off, worse than how it was before I took the body lift off. And then it does pull to the right. Not bad, but a little worse than it did before. I did the whole front diff when I took the front diff out so I could get the locker and gears in it. So I'm gonna get it checked out and see, hopefully they don't gouge me on the alignment price, because I know everything's going up.